He had fame, fortune, and millions of fans. Yet one thing was missing. Keanu Reeves never married, and it wasn't by accident. Behind his quiet smile is a love story so painful, it changed how he saw happiness forever. This is not a Hollywood romance. This is the real reason Keanu Reeves chose a life without marriage. Welcome to a world of imagination. The stories on this channel are entirely fictional, designed to entertain and captivate. Any resemblance to real people, events, or situations is purely coincidental. These narratives are not a reflection of reality but a playful escape into the realm of creativity. Enjoy the adventure and let your imagination run wild. Stop scrolling for a second. Take a breath. Because this is not the kind of celebrity story you're used to hearing. There are no scandals hiding behind closed doors. No secret marriages revealed years later. No dramatic divorces, court battles, or tabloid headlines. Instead, this is a quiet story. A human story. It's the story of a man who achieved what most people spend their entire lives chasing: fame, fortune, and worldwide admiration, yet made a choice that many people still struggle to understand. Keanu Reeves. One of Hollywood's most respected and beloved actors. A man known not just for his films, but for his kindness, humility, and silence in a world that thrives on noise. While others chased attention, Keanu walked the opposite direction. While many celebrities measured success by relationships on magazine covers, he chose privacy. And for decades, one question has followed him everywhere. Why didn't you ever get married? People have guessed the answer again and again. Some say it's because he was too focused on his career. Others believe he simply never wanted commitment. Many assume that a man with his looks, charm, and success must have had endless options and simply chose not to settle down. But those assumptions miss the truth. Because Keanu Reeves didn't avoid marriage out of selfishness or fear of responsibility. He didn't reject love. In fact, he valued it more deeply than most people ever will. What the world sees is a calm face, a gentle smile, and a quiet presence. What it doesn't see is the emotional weight he has carried for years, a weight formed not by fame, but by loss. The real reason Keanu never married isn't something you'll find in gossip columns or viral headlines. It's rooted in a heartbreak so profound that it reshaped how he viewed love, happiness, and the future itself. This isn't a story about a man who couldn't love. It's about a man who loved so deeply that losing it changed him forever. And to understand that choice, the choice to live differently, we must go back to the moment when everything in his life quietly fell apart. In the late 1990s, when Keanu Reeves was at the height of his rising fame, his most meaningful role wasn't on a movie set. It was in his personal life. Behind the cameras and away from the spotlight, Keanu was deeply in love with a woman named Jennifer Syme. She wasn't just his girlfriend. She was his calm in a chaotic world. Jennifer was someone Keanu trusted completely. A safe place where he could be vulnerable, open, and real. Friends close to the couple often said that this relationship felt different from his previous ones. There was a sense of seriousness, of emotional depth, and of a future being quietly built. Many believed Jennifer was the woman Keanu would one day marry. In 1999, their bond reached its most joyful moment. Jennifer became pregnant. For the first time, Keanu allowed himself to imagine a life beyond fame and films. A home. A family. A future filled with simple happiness. Those close to him said he was genuinely excited, talking about fatherhood and making plans that had nothing to do with Hollywood. It was a rare glimpse of Keanu dreaming not as an actor, but as a man ready to become a parent. Then, without warning, everything collapsed. Their baby daughter, Ava, was stillborn. There are few pains in this world that compare to preparing your heart for new life, only to walk away with nothing but silence. The hospital room that was supposed to hold joy instead held unbearable grief. The future they had imagined vanished in a single moment. The loss devastated both Keanu and Jennifer. Grief entered their relationship like an uninvited guest, quiet at first, then overwhelming. They tried to support each other, but sorrow affects people differently. Conversations became harder. Smiles disappeared. Love was still there, but pain stood between them. Slowly, distance grew. Despite their deep connection, The weight of loss became too heavy to carry together. Eventually, they made the heartbreaking decision to separate, not because they stopped loving each other, but because the grief was simply too much. But this was not the end of their tragedy. Fate, it seemed, still had more pain waiting. Just when it seemed that the worst pain had already been endured, life struck again, harder and without mercy. Only 18 months later, tragedy returned. Jennifer Syme died suddenly in a car accident. In a single moment, Keanu Reeves lost the woman he once believed he would grow old with. There was no warning. No time to prepare. No chance for closure. No final conversation. No goodbye. One day she was part of his world. The next, she was gone forever. This was no longer just heartbreak. This was emotional devastation at its deepest level. Those close to Keanu say this moment reshaped him completely. The man who already carried grief now carried silence. He withdrew further from the spotlight, speaking less about his personal life, guarding his emotions with care. Fame no longer mattered. Success no longer impressed him. Something inside him had changed permanently. From that point on, Keanu Reeves became noticeably quieter, not cold, but cautious. Not distant, but deeply introspective. He learned that love, as beautiful as it can be, also comes with unimaginable pain. Marriage, in his eyes, stopped being a symbol of romance and happiness. It became risk. The risk of attachment. The risk of hope. The risk of loving someone with your entire heart, only to lose them without warning. For Keanu, the idea of marriage became inseparable from the fear of loss. Not because he didn't believe in love, but because he understood how fragile it truly is. When you've already lost everything once, the thought of opening your heart again can feel unbearable. Years later, Keanu would express this truth in a simple but powerful sentence. Grief changes shape, but it never ends. That line wasn't just a quote, it was his reality. Grief followed him quietly, evolving over time but never disappearing. It shaped how he lived, how he loved, and how he chose to protect himself emotionally. And while the world continued to ask why he never married, few understood that his answer wasn't found in choice alone, it was found in survival. For Keanu Reeves, love had already taken everything once. And the fear of experiencing that loss again never truly left him. In a world where celebrity relationships are often loud, public, and fleeting, Keanu Reeves chose a different path. Unlike many stars who fill the void with glamorous romances, headlines, and fleeting flings, he never tried to distract himself from his grief. There were no tabloid scandals. No attention-grabbing relationships. No drama designed to keep the cameras flashing. Instead, Keanu chose solitude. But solitude does not mean loneliness. It does not mean emptiness. For Keanu, it was a deliberate choice, a way to live authentically, without compromising his heart or soul. He understood something few people do. Love cannot be measured by a ceremony, a contract, or societal expectations. It lives in connection, kindness, loyalty, and the respect we offer to others. He has said openly that he doesn't feel incomplete without marriage. And that is what makes his story so unique and inspiring. Keanu didn't reject marriage because he didn't believe in love. On the contrary, he believes in love more deeply than most people can imagine. But after losing the love of his life, he realized that love should never be treated casually, half-heartedly, or for convenience. To truly love someone, he believed, you must be fully present, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Anything less is a betrayal to the depth of human connection he had once known. After experiencing the heartbreak of losing Jennifer Syme, he wasn't willing to risk offering even a part of his heart to someone else who might one day be taken from him by fate. So, he redirected his love into other meaningful avenues. He poured himself into friendships, into quiet acts of generosity, and into the compassion he showed to strangers and colleagues alike. From helping crew members on set to giving anonymously to those in need, Keanu made it clear that love is not confined to romantic labels. It can live in kindness, in loyalty, and in the quiet ways we impact the world around us. Through this choice, Keanu Reeves teaches the world that solitude can be powerful, that love can exist without titles, and that protecting one's heart does not make someone cold, it makes someone extraordinarily human. So, after everything, what is the real reason Keanu Reeves chose not to marry? It's not because of fear of commitment. It's not because of ego. It's not because of fame, Hollywood pressures, or a busy life. The truth is far deeper. It was loss. A loss so profound that it changed the way he experiences life, love, and happiness. When someone has loved and lost so deeply, the heart doesn't forget. It carries those memories, the pain, and the lessons learned. For Keanu Reeves, this loss reshaped not just his relationships but the very way he approached life itself. Yet here lies the remarkable part of this story. He didn't let tragedy make him bitter. Instead of turning away from the world, he turned inward, growing kinder, more humble, and far more emotionally aware. His experiences gave him a wisdom few can claim, an understanding that happiness doesn't require society's approval, and love doesn't need a label to be real. Keanu's life teaches us several invaluable lessons. Marriage does not define love. Love is not measured by a wedding ring or a legal document. True love exists in the connections we make, the care we give, and the loyalty we show. Happiness does not require following the crowd. Choosing a path that feels right for your soul may seem unusual to others, but it is authentic, and authenticity is where true joy is found. Sometimes, choosing peace over expectations is the bravest decision of all. It takes courage to prioritize emotional well-being over what society tells you is normal or expected. Keanu Reeves reminds us that even those who appear to have everything, fame, fortune, admiration, carry invisible scars. Everyone has a story of love, loss, or pain that the world may never see. And maybe, just maybe, the reason he never married is because he already loved once, with his whole soul, and that love was too sacred, too profound, to ever risk giving partially again. His story is not just about heartbreak, it's about resilience, compassion, and the quiet strength of the human heart. It teaches us that love can live in many forms, that loss can shape rather than destroy us, and that living authentically is always more powerful than living for appearances. Keanu Reeves shows us that life's deepest lessons often come from the places where pain and love intersect, and that sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply to live with a full heart, even when it has been broken.